what a scoundrel. Gassed of a town fool to go rob the crown jewel. He's like a Lego megalomaniac who's into electronic and techno, a real brainiac. Smack dab in the hip-hop gold rush. Be rather the old stuff, preferably the cold crush. It gets deeper than Deep Pack Chopper, except he keep us.
Yo, yo, yo. It's time for another show. I'm Aquarian OG. You should get to know me, because I want to know what you watching. Hey, this video right here is something that's near and dear. Something you should not fear, even though fire is near. Hey, barbecue. Yes, yes, yes. Good old black barbecue.
Y'all tired of eating that barbecue from up the street? Where to give you more sauce than to give you meat? Well, bring your big ass down to Bruh's Barbecue.
Not blackened. This is black people barbecue. How black barbecue came along. This is the history of black barbecue. I like me some barbecue. I don't care where it comes from, as long as it got some good flavor, got a nice smoke ring you can taste, and charcoal is better. People don't like to tussle and toil with charcoal, but it's worth the problems. It's worth the trouble. It's worth the mess. Let's get started on this video, because I'm getting hungry. I might have to go get me some food after I get done with this one. Let's go. What might Black History give them a hit, if you will? Thank you for the vid.
Started. The origins of barbecue as we know it can be traced back to native tribes in the Caribbean and their indigenous cooking methods.
Oh, you mean where all the spices was that Columbus was trying to get? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we knew that. That's why he was going there. The first Spanish colonizers embarked on their own new world. Yep. There they come, just like I called it.
First Spanish colonizers embarked on their New World voyages in the 15th century. They were fascinated by the techniques employed by the indigenous Taino people.
Look at that. They was already smoking and drying and salting and seasoning and it just all sounds so delicious.
People, the Native Americans would slow cook their meat over wooden structures over a pit of fire.
Now check this out. They call Escoffier the godfather of culinary, but this stuff was already going on before he came along calling himself a cook. He learned this shit from Africans. I made a post on Facebook that Escoffier got his techniques and took credit from Africans, and it got 0 likes. Don't nobody know what the hell I was talking about. I'm talking about him taking the techniques that they was already using, indigenous and black people, or indigenous and African people. I shouldn't say black, because black that means death. Indigenous and melanated people. Heavily melanated people. We'll do that. We'll be technical. Was already doing these techniques, so credit stolen again.
Taino people, the Native Americans would slow cook their meat over wooden structures
Brazen.
over a pit of fire. This method was termed barbacoa, and this enthralled colonizers so much that they incorporated barbacoa into their Spanish lexicon, with it eventually becoming the word.
See, barbacoa was black first.
Barbecue. The story of barbecue doesn't end with Spanish colonizers.
Oh no, we know it no. We know it don't. That's why Americans is eating ribs right now. We know it don't.
Becoming the word barbecue. The story of barbecue doesn't end with Spanish colonizers. These explorers took the cooking method of barbacoa with them to North America, where it was adopted by the local people and colonizers alike. The first known written mention of pork barbecue was around Mississippi. The book
called it what was going on in Mississippi. You're welcome.
The Historical Roots of the Yaknak Tapafa, 1540, 19.
The historic roots of a what?
The Historical Roots of the Yaknak Tapafa,
Yaknak Tapapwa. Wow. Yakna to Pata Foi. Oh shit, it's even more of a twister.
1940, 1962, authors
1962.
John Harrison Doyle wrote in December of 1540, near present-day Tupelo, Mississippi, the explorer Hernando de Soto and the Chickasaw tribe had a feast of Spanish cooked pork using the barbacoa method. By the 16th or 17th centuries, barbecue had become an integral part of everyday life in these.
Damn, these motherfuckers. They got dog up there. Is that somebody's greyhound? They ate everything. They was like, waste not, want not. They got fish. You got muskrat. You got snake. You got, what is that, a giant salamander? I ain't never seen no gator look like that. They're like a giant salamander with teeth on it. Y'all got a salmon on that bad boy. But is that a greyhound? Somebody's greyhound? That's tough.
Southern part of North America, where there's even a painting from 16th century French explorer Jacques Lemoyne that shows Native Americans in Florida using a wooden frame over burning logs
to smoke the meat.
A variety of foods like fish, mammals, and reptiles. George Washington, who was once charged with procuring meat for his soldiers during the French and Indian Wars, even talked about barbecuing in the Indian manner. With the arrival of enslaved Africans to the Americas in the 16th century, this caused a significant shift in the cultural and culinary landscape. Forced to adapt to a strange new environment, these Africans learned to sustain themselves through ingenious methods.
The whole thing was ingenious methods. Learning about this stuff, passing it on about this stuff. Then people just want to be like, oh, we started that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That was ours. That was us. We did some stuff around this bad boy.
The cooking methods of the Native Americans, specifically the technique of barbecuing.
See?
This slow-cooked method was ideal for larger cuts of meat, which made it popular for communal gatherings. It's around this time that the groundwork was laid for the southern style of pit barbecuing.
You're welcome, Texas.
However, the adaptation from the Native American techniques of suspended racks to in-pit barbecue is very murky. There is scant written references from the 18th century to shed light on this evolution. But
I thought he said something else.
Of documentation, it's plausible that this move into the ground was an inevitable progression. Around the same time was the introduction of unique African flavors and cooking techniques into barbecue by the enslaved community. Enslaved Africans didn't just learn Native American techniques of barbecuing, but they contributed their own, like the process of smoking meat over a gentle flame. It was a common practice in several African cultures and was originally designed to preserve the freshness of meat. This method eventually fused with the open pit cooking style that formed the basis for the barbecue style that we know today.
I'm sorry, but did that whole thing make anybody else hungry? I need to go get me some pulled pork now. Well, maybe some pulled beef. But damn, it sounds good.
Southern barbecue would gain popularity around the mid-1700s on Virginia plantations and then slowly make its way south from there. However, it's important to know that barbecues were not a regular event, but they were organized around holidays, special events, and political gatherings.
Hey, I barbecue about 3 times a week all year round. I have no problems with starting up the grill, and we go through a lot of charcoal and hardwood a year. We got this thing in America that people refer to as barbecue season, which I guess is what, Labor Day all the way out to the end of summer, or Memorial Day to the end of summer, Memorial Day to Labor Day or something like that. I don't know, but it's like all of summer. I'll barbecue if there's some snow on the ground. I'll barbecue if it's raining outside. I'll barbecue if it's sunny outside. I barbecue in December. I barbecue in June. I barbecue in February. I don't care. I love me some barbecue. When I was a kid, my favorite spot to play at my grandparents' house was next to my grandfather's barbecue.
Adrian Miller, the author of Black Smoke, a book around the history of black barbecue, would state that by the 1830s, people believed that a proper barbecue required an African-American cook and his team.
Yo! Say that again for the people in the back.
On the history of black barbecue would state that by the 1830s, people believed that a proper barbecue required an African-American cook and his team. Barbecue was seen as a black experience.
We have a touchdown. We have a touchdown. That is why we have this metaphorical thing called the cookout.
Furthermore, because African Americans popularized pit cooking, they earned the title of pit master. Originally, pit masters were the elderly slaves that were proficient in cooking who supervised the barbecue preparation. Later on, the term pit master will become known more broadly. One of the earliest known references to a pit master was published September 22nd, 1939 in the Daily Times News in Burlington, North Carolina. They wrote that.
And who was in North Carolina? The Gullah. Who had the flavors? The islands.
In the Daily Times News in Burlington, North Carolina. They wrote that Jeter Crushfield, pitmaster, will supervise the beginning of a roasting pork for barbecue tonight at midnight. This is the first known use of the word pitmaster in print. And now, Jeter Crushfield was a white man, and it was not uncommon for white men to be the face of local barbecue. But more often than not, the ones doing the actual work were African Americans. It's also important to note that the article specifies that Jeter will supervise. But regardless, it tells us that the term pitmaster had become so wrapped into the lexicon that it's found its way into a newspaper article by the 1930s. What makes enslaved Africans' adaptation to barbecue so ingenious was that it was built amongst their limitations. Barbecue is a complex, laborious process that requires mastery and precision, from building an adequate fire to keeping consistent temperature for hours to expertly handling the meat to achieve a perfect blend of texture and flavor.
Damn, he making me hungry again. Killing me, Smalls, you're killing me. You just keep talking about how nice the meats are, cuts and tenderizing, and the crust around the whole barbecue, and
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama, don't it, Willie?
Yeah, boy. Hey, mama.
What the hell you want with?
Borderline starving.
Often provided the least favorable, tougher cuts of meat, and these skilled chefs used this knowledge of seasoning and slow cooking to render these tough, overlooked cuts of meat delicious. By the Civil War, Southerners had been barbecuing for almost 2 centuries, and a great many of these cooks were African American slaves who tended these pits and barbecues organized for the white community, as well as events for their own family and friends. Sunday was often a day of rest and church sessions. This day became when enslaved people would barbecue for themselves. Thus, barbecue culture became an integral part of African American traditions. Today, celebrations like Juneteenth often center around barbecue.
I do not like Juneteenth. For the record, I think Juneteenth is a smokescreen to celebrate a lie. The lie is that the slaves were never told that they were free for years after the slaves were free. Why do I want to celebrate that? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's how it looks to me. And that's where I'm at right now with that. I do not celebrate Juneteenth. I don't know why people do, because they tell you that it's to commemorate the lie or the blah, 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 blah. Well, it's to celebrate the freedom. Yeah, they should have been free a couple years before. Don't they celebrate no late freedom? I mean, yeah, if you're the one that's getting free, but I don't want to be reminded of it every year. This is the anniversary about what? When we were lied to and found out the truth? Like, That's like a wife celebrating her finding out her husband was cheating on her every year after they decided that they were going to stay together. Like, if I'm wrong, but that's how it looked to me.
Barbecue, underlying the importance of barbecue within black culture. After the Civil War, thousands of talented cooks in rural areas and small towns brought their barbecue tradition to hungry Southerners. Such examples was an African American cookbook author by the name.
She looked like she makes some banging ass baked beans. When Big Mama looked like that, she makes some banging ass baked beans. Big beans.
Of
Cornbread?
Fisher, who was born into slavery in South Carolina in 1832 and shared her cooking skills while on plantation kitchens. After she obtained her freedom, she published a cookbook in 1881 named What Miss Fisher Knows About Old Southern Cooking. The cookbook does not contain any barbecue recipes, which is understandable because barbecuing was traditionally done by men outside in pits. However, one barbecue recipe stands out. It is called game sauce. The recipe calls for stewing a peck of plums after removing the stones with onions, vinegar, sugar, cayenne, black pepper, cinnamon, and salt, simmering the mixture for a full day, and she states that she will have the best barbecue sauce in the world. In the year.
Damn. Run that recipe back again. Damn.
However, one barbecue recipe stands out. It is called game sauce. The recipe calls for stewing a peck of plums after removing the stones with onions, vinegar, sugar, cayenne, black pepper, cinnamon, and salt, simmering the mixture for a full day. And she states that she will have the best barbecue sauce in the world.
What the hell you want with?
In the years after emancipation, black barbecue traditions continued. While the names did not make the newspaper or other historical records, being a pitmaster was a high demand skill. And as freed African Americans began to form their own communities, they passed down this craft to the younger generations, and those traditions became integral into black culture. Over time, black cuisine and barbecue tradition became an essential part of larger American society, particularly in the southern United States, where it is now known as Southern barbecue. However, this adoption came with issues like cultural appropriation and accommodation. Today, barbecue has become increasingly popular within mainstream American society. It's considered an integral part of American cuisine. However, the widespread recognition often overlooks and glosses over the origins within black culture. As a result, the origins of barbecue is often changed or even completely forgotten.
Or not even talked about. We know this, but some people don't know this outside of us. It is to be written.
Also, barbecue has become an increasingly profitable business.
Yeah, it has.
With it, its cultural significance is washed away in a wave of commercial interest. Often, mainstream American barbecue business cherishes barbecue as purely American while hiding the black history behind its influence. Despite the
Damn, look at that roast. Look how that meat that got that charred crust on it. Oh my God, it just looks delicious. I need to get me a rotisserie chicken from somewhere. Costco, here I come.
appropriation, the authorization, and acclimatization. The tradition of barbecue still holds a special place within black culture. It represents unity, resistance, strength, and freedom. This deep cultural meaning can be seen at black family reunions, church gatherings, and other social events where barbecue is a crucial
Element
moving
moving.
from a survival strategy in enslaved black community to a popular American tradition. Barbecue shows the strength of shared culinary traditions and how they influence America's cultural identity. Thank you. This has been One Mike. I'm your host, Country Boy.
Man, this barbecue right here, looking smacking. Ooh, Ooh, I might have to fire the grill up tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna put on it, but I'm gonna have to fire the grill up tonight. See, I did some jerk chicken the other day. That turned out good. I marinated that in some jerk marinade for about 30 something hours. About 30 something hours in the marinade. You know, let it soak in there, get that down into the bone. Have some of them spices from the jerk seasoning just fuse into that bad boy, and then had a separate jerk barbecue sauce to put on after it was cooking. Man, that chicken was righteous. I'm gonna have to do something. I want to make a brine for a steak from fennel seed and basil and rosemary. Trying to get a flavor going on with that. I got to work on that. Got to get some steaks too. I got some thawed. I got some frozen down in the freezer. But yeah, that's the video. Hey, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Trying to get this 500 goal. Just like a little bit away from there. And I will be seeing you on the next vid. To you, adieu, I bid.